in the entire country. For many years, he was the commissioner for a state just north of here, that being New Hampshire. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a round of applause for the one and only, the incomparable Art Nolan! Well, into his 90s, he's still coming to our shows on Thanksgiving because of tradition. Thank you, Art. Ladies and gentlemen, for our first talk of the evening, we go to the lightweight division. This fight is scheduled for 8 rounds. Introducing first, boxing out of the blue corner to my left. Wearing the red trunks with white trim. His record impressive. 25 wins against just 13 defeats. He comes from us originally from Sao Paulo, Brazil. He's an upset specialist. Ladies and gentlemen, Eduardo Reis. And his opponent, boxing out of the red corner to my right, wearing blue trunks with gold and white trim. His record impressive. 16 wins, just 2 defeats. He's no stranger to Boston Boxing Promotions and hails from nearby Lowell, Massachusetts. Ladies and gentlemen, their opponent, St. Molina. 8 rounds, lightweights.
Sounds like a big crowd coming down from Lowell, just up 495 to see St. Nick Molina take on Eduardo Reis. Another scheduled 8-rounder here. We'll see if Molina wants it to go that long. Molina catching Reis with a hook over the top. Reis most of the action so far. It's always kind of funny to me how Molina in the red corner wearing the blue trunks and Reis out of the blue corner wearing the red trunks, how often that happens.
Yeah, a little switcheroo right there. Yeah, and the amateurs, they always tell us, don't wear a red fit with a blue headgear or blue gloves, Always make sure you're kind of in unison and matching the corner you're boxing out of. Obviously, professional boxing, it's a little bit more theatric. Guys have different fits and their own colors. But yeah, funny. We got red trunks in the blue corner, blue trunks in the red corner. Hopefully these judges are watching the tape on the gloves and not the shorts. Molina very tentative through the first round so far. Yeah, I mean, like we talked about, I mean, he's coming off of a split decision loss, and he's up against a guy who has beat someone who maybe he's trained with in the past, or at least is definitely well aware of Brandon Berry. You know, we all know Brandon, we all love Brandon, and Brandon has, you know, his own reputation of being a tough, grizzled veteran, and we know the guy standing across from Molina tonight was able to pull off a victory against him. So Molina probably being a little bit wary of that, a little cautious of that. But yeah, you're right. Very slow round.
Round 2, we'll see if action picks up in the scheduled 8-rounder. Our 4th bout of the evening. A lot of history here in the Merrimack Valley. Quick scan of Haverhill High School's notable alums. Of course, the great Dancing with the Stars host, Tom Bergeron.
Tom Bergeron was a fantastic Dancing with the Stars host. Shout out to Steve Irwin's son. Just won the last season. Yeah, what I'm noticing with Molina right now is he's not really getting his jab off. And that's usually his money punch. You know, he's leaping with the left hook. There's the jab there. Flashing it right there. Yeah, Molina needs to find that range, find his range. I tell my boxers all the time, you got to find that head. Find that head, and with your jab and all the rest of your punches will fall into play. But again, kind of like Saul Corral, Reis is in there. He's active, and he's pressing Molina, making him very uncomfortable in spots.
Combo by Reis there.
Strong body work. You and me have been calling, you know, Nick Molina's fights for a long time now, and he does his best work off of a nice, sharp jab. So he's starting to be a little bit more active with that now at the end of round 2. A good jab and ring generalship will serve him well in this fight.
His last fight, 10 rounds. Before that, 4 back-to-back 8-rounders. One of them, that knockout win against Mignoni, only went 3. But Molina should be plenty able to go long rounds. comes out firing here in the third. See Molina starting to use that jab more.
Good left hook there by Molina. Good round so far by Reis.
I was going to say, credit to Reis. He hasn't just acknowledged that Molina's got the huge crowd and just gone down.
Yeah, I would have to say Reis is winning this round. He's winning the exchanges. He's catching Molina with some short punches. Molina looks like he's just having a hard time getting going tonight. Again, a lot I think has to do with establishing that jab.
Of course, Molina hailing from nearby Lowell, another one of those cities like Brockton, like Fall River, that has a lot of boxing history.
A lot of rich boxing history in Lowell. Shout out Mickey Ward.
Going into round 4.
I'm going to say 2-1 going into round 4.
I could also see one of those first two
being a swing round for Reis, yeah.
Which is always interesting when we start talking about those swing rounds. We've seen it time and time again.
Yeah, how many times have we mentioned swing rounds and had some interesting draws or split decisions? You know, Nicky Molina really needs this win tonight. I know he really wants this win. Credit to him, you know, he didn't take a soft touch to try to get back in the win column tonight. He's in against a tough guy. And this is what we need from Nick Molina right here. A little bit more offensive. See him whipping that right hand over the top. He needs to let Reis know this is his ring.
A guy that's pretty much owned the Merrimack Valley, at least in the lightweight division, over the last handful of years.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Nick Molina proposed to his girlfriend in this ring.
This exact ring?
Yeah, on a Boston Boxing Promotion show. So, I mean, this is quite literally is kind of like his, this is his home.
A combo by Molina there.
And this is a good Molina round, sticking to his jab, fighting in spurts, good combinations, quick combinations. Athletically and speed-wise, he can always be a step above Reis, so he needs to keep that up. It's when he kind of gets into these lulls and actions and looking for the perfect spot is when Reis can capitalize.
Molina owning the middle. A lot of wrestling history here at Haverhill High. They last won a Division I state championship in 2023-24. Not only Tom Bergeron, formerly gracing the halls of Haverhill High School, but also singer-songwriter Rob Zombie, former Hilly. Molina looking a little more active as this fight gets longer.
Molina doing a good job getting back to his jab, using his eyes. You see he just got out of the way of that big punch right there, landed his jab again. Educated jab back to the body. I'd like to see Molina start turning Reis a little bit more, using some hooks. You see him switching his stance there, trying it that way. You want to get Reis turning a little bit, make him more uncomfortable, make him have to reset. You don't want a guy, you see Reis, he's very powerful when he's low in his stance. And you don't necessarily want that guy in front of you all the time. Good right hand over the top by Molina. Good job by Molina. Looks like Reis has slowed down just a touch as well.
Could have been Molina's strategy, just wait him out until he starts to slow down, starts to drop the hands a little bit.
Yeah, it definitely looks like the later part of this fight, Molina will start to take over just a bit more.
Get ready for round number 6 of 8. Molina comes right out of the corner and throws a couple of jabs. Good one connection by Molina there. Right hand over the top to cut Reis on the head.
You see Molina does a good job. After he lands that big shot upstairs, he immediately goes down to the body. Another good jab, finishing with his jab now. Like I said earlier, it looked like Molina was having a hard time kind of finding his groove. It looks like he's found that groove now. You hear the Mortal Kombat finish him from the crowd. Finish him. If only it were that easy.
Just hit your quarter circle move. It'll be fine.
Corner circle, sir. Sometimes it feels like that when I'm cornering the Italian Nightmare. Feels like I can hit a series of buttons and he does what I need him to do, but not always.
Only every boxer just hit that one move when you said every time.
That one finisher that you need him to do. Good left hook there by Molina. Nick Molina's starting to take charge of this fight, offensively and defensively.
Round 7 of the scheduled 8. First 2 scheduled 8 rounders, both going the distance. To Reis's credit, he's still throwing here in the 7th. Good combo by Molina there.
Good right hand, just misses there by Nick Molina. See Molina's looking for that level change, looking for that overhand. Good job by Reis. Seems that Nick Molina's finally found his distance. Proves it there with a nice solid jab. The thing with a guy like Reis in front of you for 8 rounds, he's always dangerous. So, you know, to be in Molina's position, he has to be sharp at all times. There's ebb and flows throughout the fight, but he's got a guy in front of him that at any moment could hurt him.
We'll see if either of the combatants decide to open it up here in the 8th and final. Good body work by Molina.
Good counter right hand over the top by Nick Molina.
Reis controlling the middle of the ring for what seems like the first time tonight.
Yeah, you see Reis, he knows he's in the last round of the fight. Kind of going for a little bit more. He stayed consistent throughout this fight, but it just hasn't been enough. Like I said, athletically, speed-wise, he's just a few steps behind Nick Molina. And I think, Nick realized that. Listen, if I get started first, this guy really can't catch up to me. And that's what pretty much he's done through, from the third round on, I believe. Really took control from the fourth on.
Good jab work by Molina.
It's a little bit different from what we've seen from the last two fights. 8th round, both guys are pretty much
Open it up with 10 seconds left.
starting to open up at 10 seconds. Both guys seem pretty content, just kind of doing what they were doing. I think Nick Molina did enough from rounds 4 to 8 to take the victory tonight.
One, maybe 2 rounds for Reis, but pretty standard affair for...
Yeah, Reis was a live dog tonight. He was in there to win. I think just a step behind Molina tonight.
fight 80-72. Judge Gary Litchfield sees the fight 77-75, and Frank Lombardi scores the fight 79-73. All for your winner, the unanimous decision from Low Massachusetts.
And there we have it, unanimous decision victory for Nick Molina. Like me and my broadcast partner Matt said, from about rounds 4 on, Nick finally found his range and pretty much dominated the fight from there with his, speed, athleticism, and footwork. So credit to him. Nick Molina gets back in the win column tonight at the 2025 Thanksgiving Eve Spectacular.